An all-round performance from Sandeep Lamichhane against Qatar has helped hosts Nepal emerge as winners of Group A at the ACC Men's Premier Cup and progress to the semi-finals of the tournament. Nepal are now 2 matches and 2 wins away from securing their spot at the Asia Cup. Good evening, I'm Prarambha Dahal. Let's begin with the main stories. Efforts underway to ease statute of limitation in the Commission for the Investigation of Abuse of Authority Act, a 5-year period for investigation and actions likely to increase corruption. Preparations underway to end Parliament session without concluding bills related to Constitutional Council and Transitional Justice. Nepali Congress and Maoist Center failed to furnish members for thematic committees today as well. Nepal Rashtra Bank expresses concerns towards government suggestion for reduction of interest rate. Says curbing interest would increase imports and deplete foreign reserve. And hosts Nepal secure a 68-run win over Qatar and finish as winners of Group A at the ACC Premier Cup to take Kuwait in the semi-final. Efforts are underway to amend the act that allows filing cases against those who are accused of corruption and irregularities at any moment or even after their death, and to reduce the statute of limitation to 5 years. The amended bill, which was endorsed by the National Assembly and is now at the House of Representatives, has raised speculations regarding if it is an effort to institutionalize corruption. The amendment of the Commission for the Investigation of Abuse of Authority Act proposes restricting the statute of limitation to 5 years. As per this provision, the authority will have to file a case against the perpetrator within 5 years of becoming aware of the act of corruption. Efforts are being made to include the provision of statute of limitation by amending Section 29 of the bill. This move clashes against the Supreme Court's precedent. As per this provision, the offender will get exemption if actions are not taken within 5 years. The ruling coalition itself is divided on the amendment proposal. Amidst increasing grievances of corruption in Nepal, property details of politicians and high-ranking government officials are not transparent. Their lifestyle is lavish as well. However, rare actions are taken against politicians and administrators for corruption. In such a situation, ease in legal provisions is only likely to increase corruption further in the country. Agreement between the mainstream parties to conclude the bill related to transitional justice and Constitutional Council from the ongoing session of the House of Representatives is not likely to materialize. Main opposition CPN-UML has remained firm in its stance of endorsement of the bill related to Constitutional Council after amendments, while the ruling parties are in favor of endorsement of the bill in its current form. However, with preparations underway for conclusion of the winter session of the Parliament tomorrow, none of the bills are likely to be endorsed. A failure in endorsing the bill related to Constitutional Council is likely to affect the appointment of the Chief Justice as well. Monday's meeting of Nepali Congress, CPN-UML and CPN Maoist Center held at Singhadarbar had agreed to conclude the bill related to transitional justice by forming a special committee and endorse the bills related to Constitutional Council and money laundering prevention through the ongoing session of the House of Representatives. The 3 parties had also agreed to assign the leadership of 3 parliamentary thematic committees, including the Public Accounts Committee, to opposition CPN-UML. However, UML has now remained firm in its stance of endorsement of the bill related to Constitutional Council only with amendment. This has led to a situation where none of the bills are likely to be concluded. The ruling coalition has said that the amendment proposed by UML was not possible. Meanwhile, UML has alleged the ruling coalition of not forming 10 thematic committees. A total of 26 meetings of the House of Representatives have been held since the beginning of the Parliament session. However, the Parliament has not received any significant business as the government has largely been engaged in power share. It is now time for a short break, but for more news, to stay with us. At a time when the government has been urging the Nepal Rashtra Bank to reduce the interest rate, the central bank has said that curbing interest rate would increase consumption and import and thus deplete the foreign reserve. Addressing the 68th anniversary of the Nepal Rashtra Bank, Deputy Governor Nilam Thungana has said that reduction in interest rate would deplete the foreign reserve. She went on to add that the central bank's strict policies in recent past had improved the balance of payment and the foreign reserve. Only yesterday, Prime Minister Pushpa Dahal had said that consultations with the Rashtra Bank were underway regarding reduction of the interest rate. Addressing today's program, former Governor Nath Vatrai said that the private sector and the government should not pressurize the central bank to curb the interest rate. He added that the market should determine the interest rate and the upcoming monetary policy should not be flexible. At a time when the public funds were being abused by cooperatives, Vatrai also urged for formation of a regulatory authority at the earliest. Meanwhile, Rashtra Bank Governor Mahaprasad Adhikari said that improvement in the economy had resulted in some ease in liquidity, but added that international factors were posing challenges in curbing inflation. Nepal's tourism sector, which employs around 1.1 million individuals, suffered severely for 2 years because of the coronavirus pandemic. However, some improvements have been seen in the sector with the increase in the number of tourists in recent time. Around 300,000 tourists have arrived in Nepal in the 4 months of 2023, while national and international hotel chains are currently occupied. Notable improvement has been seen in Nepal's tourism sector in the year 2023. Around 600,000 tourists had arrived in Nepal last year, which had provided some respite to tourism entrepreneurs. A total of 300,000 tourists have arrived in Nepal since January this year already. With the increase in arrival of foreigners, the number of mountaineers has also increased. 1,046 mountaineers have already received their expedition permit for the season so far. Star-rated to international hotels are also filled with tourists. Occupancy at national level hotels currently stands at 80%, while that of international hotels is 95%. The number of Nepali nationals spending their time at large hotels has also increased in recent time. This recent change in consumer behavior has also enthused the tourism entrepreneurs. Tourism sector is considered as the backbone of Nepal's economic development. However, the government has yet to make arrangements to enhance the standards of arriving tourists, increasing their stay period and recording their expenditure details. Bir Hospital in the capital facilitates VVIP and VIP units for treatment. However, the VVIP ward has remained locked for several years. The VVIP unit of the hospital that facilitates intensive care unit and accommodates family of patients and security personnel have remained non-operational since the fiscal year of 2046 BS. Prior to that, the VVIP unit was used during the treatment of the members of the erstwhile royal family. The hospital administration has said that the VVIP unit has remained out of use as the VVIPs seek treatment elsewhere. The VIP unit, meanwhile, comes to use occasionally. Former Minister for Health and State Minister as well as Secretary of the Planning Commission were treated in the VIP unit last year. The government had repaired the VIP and VVIP unit during the SAARC summit 7 years ago at an investment of 5 million rupees. In our Public Voice segment, today we have asked in several provinces regarding the development programs prioritized by the local levels. Let us now take a look at what they had to say.
Public Voice.
केहीमा पनि विकास यताउता कुनै पनि काम केही कहीँ गरेको देखिँदैन।
केही कामहरु चाहिँ सडक निर्माणमा चाहिँ भए जस्तो देखिन्छ।
स्ल्याब र नालाहरु मात्रै बन्दै गइरहेको चाहिँ देखिएको छ, त्यो भन्दा बढी चाहिँ छ जस्तो मलाई लाग्दैन।
विशेष गरी भौतिक पूर्वाधारको कामलाई नै बढी चाहिँ फोकस गरे हो कि जस्तो लाग्छ।
वडा सरकारले चाहिँ फोहोर व्यवस्थापनमा कुनै पनि क्रियाकलापहरू गरेको हालसम्म छैन।
जुन कार्यमा बढी कमिसन बच्ने त्यस्ता कार्यलाई प्राथमिकता दिएर अहिलेको स्थानीय सरकारहरूले ज्यादा काम गरेको देखिएको छ।
शैक्षिक विकासको लागि चाहिँ स्थानीय सरकारले पाठ्यपुस्तकहरू चाहिँ निर्माण गरिराखेको देखेको छु।
सडक निर्माण लगायतका कामहरूमा लाई प्राथमिकतामा राखेको छ।
कृषिका उपकरणहरू वितरणमा बेसी ध्यान दिएको छ।
विभिन्न ओडाका चाहिँ विभिन्न ठाउँहरुमा चाहिँ बाटो चाहिँ पुग्दै छन्।
चुनाव जितेर गएको 6 महिना भइसक्यो, अहिलेसम्म त केही पनि गरेर जस्तो लागिराखेन।
It is now time for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
Before we ask today's question, let us take a look at the result from yesterday's poll. Yesterday we had asked, why has the formation of parliamentary committees been delayed? 62% were for A, no consensus on share of committees. 32% were for B, irresponsibility of parties. And 6% were for C, inadequate pressure from the speaker. And here is our today's question. What do you term the disappearance of significant data from government servers? Your options are A, height of carelessness, B, lack of technical capacity, and C, weak mechanism. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. We've got more news coming up, but right now it is time for yet another short break. It is now time for the sports news.
Sports News.
An all-round performance from Sandeep Lamechhane helped Nepal defeat Qatar by 68 runs and finish as the winners of Group A at the ACC Men's Premier Cup. Lamechhane top scored for Nepal with 42 runs before picking up 5 wickets as well. In the last group stage match, Nepal displayed a poor batting display against Qatar, who are considered a relatively weaker side. After being put to bat in the match played at the Tribhuvan University cricket grounds in Kantipur, hosts Nepal were bowled out for a paltry 157 runs in 46.2 overs. Lamechhane top scored for Nepal with 42. Amir Farooq was the pick of the Qatari bowlers with 4 wickets. Chasing a target of 158 runs, Qatar were bowled out for 89 runs in 25.1 overs. Zahir Ibrahim and Khurram Sehjad scored 15 runs each, while Farooq contributed 14 and none of the other batters scored in double digits. Lamechhane picked 5 wickets, giving away only 14 runs in his 9.1 overs. Sompal Kami had 3 scalps, while Lalit Rajbansi had 2 wickets to his name. Group A winners Nepal will now play runners-up of Group B, Kuwait, in the semi-finals. Meanwhile, Kuwait have also booked their spot in the semi-final round of the ACC Men's Premier Cup after securing a 30-run win over Hong Kong. After being put to bat in the match played at the Mulpani ground, Kuwait posted 272 runs for the loss of 8 wickets. Shiraz Khan top scored with 67 runs, Usman Patel added 50, while Adnan Idris scored a run ball 45. Ihsan Khan was the pick of the Hong Kong bowlers with 3 wickets. Chasing a target of 273 runs, Hong Kong were bowled out for 242 runs in 50 overs. Skipper Nizakat Khan scored 60, Aizaz Khan added 49, while Yasim Murtaza contributed 43 runs. Saruk Quddus was the pick of the Kuwait bowlers with 3 wickets. With the win, Kuwait finished as the runners-up of Group B. Game Week 13 of the Martyrs Memorial A Division League is to begin on the 2nd of May. Jaolakhel Youth Club play Nepal Police in the first match of the beginning of the second leg of the domestic top flight football tournament. National Football Governing Body, the All Nepal Football Association ANFA, made public the schedule of the remaining 13 rounds of the A Division League. Based on the schedule, the league will conclude on the 10th of June. In the last match of the league, Jaolakhel will play 3-star. Relegation threatened, Himalayan Sherpa take on second place 3-star on the first day of Game Week 13 as well. Meanwhile, title contenders Manang Marshangdi Club and Machindra Football Club also go head-to-head in the same game week. They face off at 3 p.m. on the 4th of May at the Dashrath Stadium. Following conclusion of the league, Team Nepal will begin preparations for the SAF Championship, which will be held in India from the 21st of June. Up next is the weather update. So that is all for the moment. Up next is the news in Nepali. Thank you for staying with us. Goodbye for now.